Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations Legacy Armada Starscream. And here we've got Armada Starscream as a Voyager jet, and looking, very much like the Armada design, directly inspired by the toy. Maybe a little less the show. I feel like the show didn't have this lifeless gray plastic. It was almost more of a darker white, a lighter gray than this color. But, he still very much looks like that sort of jet design that we had with these over-top engines, these intakes on the sides, very futuristic, kind of odd looking, but still a pretty lovable jet. He does come with a little Star Saber. There we can see the three mini-cons that make him up. This plane, and then that plane. And this is probably the section that I'm the least excited about. He comes with a fake wing edge to mimic the real toy's ability to take the wing and turn it into a sword. Other than that, it's a pretty decent looking jet. I never got the thrilling 30 Armada Starscream. This one feels less red, and it's obviously bigger. That was a deluxe. Here we've got a Voyager. Pretty aerodynamic. We can see here we've got, a mess of robot stuff. But I feel like it's pretty well disguised. We've got, intakes that are oddly, in a real life aircraft, you wouldn't, have an S-loop like that. That's a mess. And then I guess, this is just, controls because the engines are up here. It's an odd design, but this is faithful to that odd design. And maybe it's just me that it kind of bothers. I still dig it. I will say from a standpoint, you can see here, that is unfortunate. It does appear, and I've tried a couple different ways to mash this in place. That's just a really loose connection. You can see there's a slot and that tab connects into, and then these side sections, I'll show how they're supposed to connect. But getting that mashed together is seemingly an impossible task. But you know what? It is another Voyager Seeker, and I am never going to complain about those. Aside from the gray, the red and black here is striking and nice. I dig that a lot. I like the blue on the cockpit. I'm pretty happy here. To compare in terms of size to other Voyagers, we've got War for Cybertron Voyagers. So here we've got, two red jets, War for Cybertron Siege. Let me get that panel back. And then Starscream. So you can see, obviously there's a difference in mass in terms of this design, but they still look pretty great next to each other. I think here you can see that size difference even more compared to, the Earthrise design. But again, there they are. So, a little on the small side for a Voyager here. Definitely bigger than a deluxe, but a little small for a Voyager. The last thing to compare him to, let's get these out of the way. While I don't have the thrilling 30 Starscream, I do have the Ultra Class mold. Now this is obviously Ramjet. My version's a little dusty. I gotta clean this guy off. But here we can see how this design originally looked. You can see there's this downward sweep of the nose cone. Again, this is nonsensical intake design. But one thing you do note is that that back connection is famously just as loose. Let me see if I can mash it in place. Where it's it's not like they did an homage. They failed to make that connection sturdy on this version, but it's funny to me that they both have that same issue. I don't know if that was an issue with the original Armada Starscream, but there you go in terms of how they look together. Now, the big difference being, obviously, this toy came with minicons. It came with a lot of them, but the original Starscream's minicon was this little race car. It's got that minicon port right there that can go onto this peg back here. And if we put it in and press it forward, we get those cannons coming forward. Now on this design, there's no minicon, no place to place it, which is unfortunate, but we can get them forward. I would have liked at least some sort of 5mm peg. Here you can see this is from the original Armada Starscream, so you can see that those colors match up pretty well. It's a shame we can't attach this anywhere on him. And again, with those pieces up, you can see now There is a double connection here that is loose, and once that's in place, there is this section here between those shadow pieces into those cavities. It should lock into place, but it doesn't really. I mean, that's unfortunate. But as a design of Starscream, it's still a pretty evocative design, even if it's not the best engineered thing. All right, let's go ahead and get into transformation here. Pretty simple transformation. You let his legs disconnect. And again, this whole thing seems to want to disconnect on its own anyway, so no big deal. You can fold out these two sections. That lets us get our leg out and extend it down like so, pulling out your toe, pulling out the heel. Same thing on this side. Just extend it, turn it around and down, pulling out our toe, pulling out our heel. There we go. And then these flapping sections on the back, they just fill out the shin, which that part is nice. I just wish the whole assembly was a little bit tighter. Coming in up top, we can put back that mushroom peg there. We can come in up top, starting out these intake sections. They can come down and we can extend out the back. Our fists on both sides, like so. With that done, and this section coming down, we can drop down that nose cone and then come in and rotate forward on this pin right here. We rotate forward his shoulder, which lets us slide it in towards his body. Get it down. Maybe that's a better view for it. There we go, like so. And then it can come back around. Same thing on this side. Let me see if I can show that off a little better. Bringing it down, bringing the whole section down, and that lets it slide down like so. Then we have our slot in his abdomen, which is going to connect the slot in the nose cone, which connects to the tab in his abdomen, like so. Bringing down those sections, flipping out his wings. And then on the back, we can just fold this whole assembly down. And there we've got Starscream in his Voyager robot mode. And again, he looks pretty good here. Bringing it in close, I like the head sculpt. Starscream in Armada was pretty serious. He's the famous, when he was in his Superlink form, he did his attack on Unicron. I think that visage does a good job depicting that sort of honorable attitude. I like his silhouette a lot. That transformation isn't great. He feels loose. This universal joints feel loose. This back section feels loose. The torso section feels fine. I kept trying to bring, if you notice these wing sections, they can fold in and out. I put them in the most downward position, try to stuff them in these slots in his body. Apparently that's not what you're supposed to do. But it feels like that should be the case, and it results in them just kind of flopping around a little bit. And I think that's my biggest complaint of the toy is that transformation doesn't feel great, that airplane mode doesn't feel great, and then as a result, this robot mode also feels a little loosey-goosey. But he sure is posable. He can look up and fly. I dig that. Looking side to side, no problem. Twist that ball joint all around. Almost 360, again, full 360 if you move the wing out of the way. The wings themselves can pivot. They have a little bit of character. The shoulder can go up. I like the way that is designed. Twist right here at the bicep. Curl at the elbow for more than 90 degrees. No twist at the wrist. The waist can twist, but we're running into just the nature of the fact that this is part of his design. It's going to run into stuff. Can do the full Van Damme. Go ahead and get extra deep on those knee joints. He can, if I just take the knee off, if you wanted to, you could pop this section out, and obviously he can go even deeper, but that does mean popping that section out. Put it back on his thigh. Yeah, so he can go nice and deep, and obviously he does have ankle tilt, maybe not as much. I've gotten used to, especially on War for Cybertron figures, there's a panel here to let you get even deeper on the ankle tilt. Not the case here, which is an interesting design choice, considering how much of everything else he's gotten is like standard War for Cybertron-esque current generations articulation. But yeah, he looks pretty good. Now he can, of course, if you want to take this back section, you can fold up, there we go, fold up his, come on. Let's plug this back in. These like mushroom pegs and just plastic on plastic connections on this toy really are a letdown in terms of the quality control. Everything is just a touch too loose. These guns can move up and forward so we can fire. They do have room so you can put in blast effects without any issue. I do dig that. I like that it's, you know, multi-posable a lot. And obviously these wings can't move, but we have this unpainted piece of plastic to demonstrate his wing sword, which is fine, but it's not something I'm super excited about. Same with the Star Saber. It's fine, but it's not that big. In fact, let me show off. Let's grab the actual Star Saber. So here, I mean, this is a repaint, obviously. I believe this is a repaint, because I don't think the actual Star Saber has clear plastic. But here we can see kind of the size that we'd be talking about, and my version doesn't want to hold itself together. But getting a new version of this with really fun, like, new Micromaster style figures, it would probably be smaller than this Armada version with the minicons, but something that, you know, bigger than this and has actual Micromasters in it would have been a great option. This just feels a little cheap, compared especially with like the size of Starscream. It all feels like they kind of just cut costs. He's smaller, his accessories are less interesting, his transformation simple. And here he is next to his Ultra Class self. And you can see, again, not as posable, but the size difference here. It's just, this feels, and it's got, you know, electronics and all that stuff. This just feels, and it's a different size class. It's Ultra Class, which technically doesn't exist. Oh, I forgot. I was like, why isn't he standing? Because I forgot his little heels. There we go. But this does feel like, you know, definitely inspired by the original design, but maybe doesn't live up to the play pattern. And I think that's a challenge that the Legacy line is going to struggle with, especially when they start looking at more modern toys. It's not purely a G1 brick kind of thing. You know, it's something the designers are going to have to contend with here. I think that it's, from a design point, it does enough to be inspired by, but for the price, the quality control, and what you're getting, I personally don't think that this Armada Starscream is worth it. But let's compare him to the other Seekers super quick. Stick that over there. Here is, again, the Siege Seeker mold and the Earthrise Seeker mold. So we can see there, in terms of that size, like, despite this being a smaller jet mode, this Armada Starscream does stand up to the same heights as the others. I do like that. A lot of that, I think, comes from the thigh extension, things like that. But, yeah, overall, I think it's a solid representation of Armada Starscream. Maybe not the one that I'd pick up. I could see myself picking up this mold again if they tighten up the quality control and then released it under different colors. I think that would be exciting for me. Maybe the Super Link colors would be kind of cool, like that Thundercracker-inspired version. We'll have to see. But as is, this guy is not going to go on my shelf, and I don't really have use for his accessories, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway here for Armada Starscream plus the Star Saber, you know, the whole little box. And I think the question of the day here is simple. We've gotten this version of the Seeker mold. It's exciting. War for Cybertron gave us, you know, the Tetrajet Seeker. We got another version of the F-15 Seeker, and now we have the Armada Seeker mold. So what is the next Seeker mold that you want to see? I would personally love to see the Energon Starscream Seeker mold, especially at Voyager scale. I think the F-22 Seeker is one of my personal favorites. It's just a really fun plane. I like the design a lot. I like the Energon Starscream colors. So I'd really love to see Energon Starscream again. But I'm super curious what for you would be, animated maybe. Cybertron is definitely the case. A new Prime Starscream. Let me know. Down in the comments below, just like today, how after the transformation video, I announced who the winner of last week's giveaway was for Elita 1. Or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Next week, when I do next week's video, I'll announce the winner of Armada Starscream, and the winner will be someone who says, I want to enter the giveaway, and answers the question of the day down in the comments below, which is, which Seeker mold, which Seeker design do you want to see next in the Legacy line? That's it for today's video. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day. Bye!